Hey, welcome to Ask a Pro. I have somebody today that is well-versed in many, many things. Brian Page. We're going to talk about Air BNB today. We're going to talk about real estate, cash flow, online marketing. This guy has done a lot of stuff in a lot of spaces. And we also want to talk about building wealth. But I want to start, because the audience didn't see this. Right before this, you told me you paid cash for a property.
Yeah.
So let's just start there. And my comment to you was what?
Why would you buy anything with cash?
Yeah. So tell me what happened.
A bad experience borrowing. So before 2008, I was a real estate investor. I became a millionaire in my 20s. Was flipping properties.
How old are you now?
I am 43.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
43. So I built a whole portfolio of properties and started getting into spec homes. I built a huge 7-bedroom, 7-bath house on the beach in North Carolina.
Oh, so you went from investor to builder.
I got into speculating. I was working.
Builders all go broke. All builders go broke.
I was working.
You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. Speculators especially.
Yeah.
So I built this home, and right around that time, I was heavily into construction at the coast, and the market turned. I couldn't cash flow any of them. I couldn't sell them. I couldn't even sell them for what I had into them.
Yeah.
And so everything went down the tubes. I let everything go. Everything got foreclosed on. That was the end of my real estate empire.
So like when you look back at that, do you think it was the debt? Was it the debt or the speculation?
I was highly leveraged, but no, it wasn't the debt because I had some rental properties that were cash flowing fine. It was the speculating on high-end real estate with no buyer in mind. That's a game that can turn quickly.
Right. So I want to rehabilitate you on the debt thing because Dave Ramsey clearly hasn't been rehabilitated. He busted out too, and he still thinks debt was the problem, but the speculation was the issue.
Yeah.
So look, let's start. You and I met because I called into one of I think Ty. You were doing something with Ty.
Yeah, I was at Ty's house in New York, and we were doing a live about Airbnb and home sharing, and then you called in, and you said something about you had a bunch of vacant units in your portfolio, and I tried to. I think that the connection went out, but I was trying to tell you that you should list those things as short-term rentals.
So let's start with the Airbnb thing because I know how hot that is, and how many people it can help. First of all, how would somebody that doesn't own any real estate benefit? Because you and I talked about that.
Okay, so the majority of the people that I help do not own real estate, and yet they're earning 6 and 7 figures on Airbnb. And we're talking serious income. And the way that they do that...
Don't need a real estate license?
Don't need a license.
Don't need credit?
Don't need credit.
Don't need money?
Very little, if any, money.
Don't need to own a piece of real estate?
Don't need to own anything. We're talking about serious cash flow. And basically you're using other people's properties. You're getting permission from the owner. And you're just leasing the property, renting it, and putting it on Airbnb, and you do that over and over and over again across multiple units. And we're talking low-income properties, high-income properties.
So Johnny, the camera guy, says, hey, I know Grant owns a bunch of property.
Yeah.
He calls me on the phone. How does this play out?
Okay, so the way it would work is you're only targeting people that are looking actively for tenants. So you're looking for rentals.
I'm looking for tenants.
Okay, so you're looking for tenants. And I would approach you and I would say, I would like to lease your property or multiple properties from you, and here's what I'm going to do. Instead of living in the property, I'm going to put short-term guests in the property. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that your unit is professionally cleaned 2 or 3 times a week by my professional cleaning company. I'm going to cover.
You handle that.
Yeah, I handle all that. Okay. So your property is going to be in impeccable condition. I'm going to cover all minor maintenance on your property. So anything breaks under $100, $200, I'll take care of it because this is my business. I'm going to insure your property for liability and for damage if something happens with the guest. And I'm going to pay you the rent you're asking, maybe even a little bit more if that's what it takes to get the deal done.
So the rent, let's say
market rent.
So I rent for $1,200 a month.
$1,200. So I'll say I'll pay you $1,200, and if you say no, I might say, well, I'll give you $1,300 a month for that unit, and that's what I'll do, and then I'll take that property.
And you're responsible for that $1,200 for the month, for the whole
year.
month.
I'll sign a year lease.
So you'll sign $14,400 worth of.
Yeah, I'll sign for the year, and then I'll turn around and take that property, put it on Airbnb, and generally make 300% more. So a $1,200 unit can make $3,000 to $4,000 easily in any market in the U.S.
So you're going to advertise it, you're going to clean it up, you're going to fill it.
I do no advertising.
The lock box, you meet them over there?
I put an electronic lock on the door, so there's a code-based entry. I have a virtual team that does all of the guest communication, so I don't handle any of it. I don't talk to the guests. All that's outsourced. And that's how it works.
That's fascinating.
And you can also do it as an owner. So I got a lot of people that go through my course and they're owners and they're building wealth quickly. So an example would be these properties I just bought. I'm paying them off in 2 years, 2 to 3 years.
Why are you paying them off, dude?
I like free and clear property. I don't know. Yeah. But I'm just saying that's the kind of cash flow we're talking about. We're talking about properties that could bring in 30, 40, 50% value per year in cash flow.
Okay, so let's advance the conversation because here I'm sitting on I probably have 350 vacant units. I'm always going to have 4 or 5%.
Okay.
I mean, that's what the leasing agent tells me. We're never
Yeah.
going to get 100%, Grant. So, how does a guy like me, if I own a 300 unit deal,
Yep.
I'm gonna have 15 vacant probably all the time, 15 to 20.
These are large multifamily, right?
Yeah, large properties. In my leases, I restrict the other tenants from doing this. I don't want them doing the Airbnb.
Yeah, of course. If you own the building, you can change the rules if you need to, or just do it for yourself. So I don't tell people to go after any units in large apartment complexes. We're talking small, privately owned properties. Right. But if you're the owner,
8-unit little garden.
Yeah, or single family homes, or
right.
I mean, people are using Airstream trailers. I got a student that took an Airstream, rented it from an owner for $200. He's making $2,000 net every month on an Airstream in Arizona
with almost no investment.
Just plugged it in, and yeah, it doesn't even own it.
Yeah,
just sitting in somebody's driveway. So
so what is he having to do? He's having a canvas for somebody that owns property.
Yeah. Well, you're just looking
make a phone call.
Yeah, make a phone call. Meet with them.
It's a sales call. I mean, it's
it is a sales call. Yeah, I tell people how to pitch the owners because I talked to like 150 owners face to face.
What's the course? What's the course that people?
It's called BNB formula.
BNB.
BNB, kind of like Airbnb. So it's BNB.
BNB. Can
formula.
you use that?
Yeah, I can.
Right
Actually,
now you can.
BNB's trademarked by me. Airbnb's not, but BNB is mine.
Okay. So maybe we'll put a link on here and get a special offer. This is fascinating. You guys should at least learn what they're talking about. Like, if I'm 25, 30 years old and I'm like, I don't have any money, I don't have any credit, I can't buy a property. So many of you call in every day. Like, I don't have any money.
There is no limitation. I had a guy approach me. I was on stage presenting this very thing, and he approached me and he said, I don't have the money to buy your course. I'm homeless. I'm literally homeless. I walked in here off the street. I said, I'll give you my course. He followed it. He got his first lease with an owner, because I teach people how to do it without credit. You can still do it without credit if you can convince the owner that you're not a risk. So he did it. Now he's making money with an Airbnb and on his way.
Wow.
So
let's talk about my situation now.
Yeah. Let's go back.
Everything comes back to me.
Let's go back to Grant.
So I'm trying to figure out how to make money on this. Okay. So I know that there's some limitations. I'd have to ask Ryan exactly. I know I have some limitations in my lease to the tenants.
Yes.
To do this, I don't know what Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, my lenders, would say about. Okay, now I'm going to take 15 units.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I could own those. I could have a lease agreement.
Yeah.
Separate from the property on those 15 units.
I've never actually talked to somebody that has the larger complexes like you do, so I'm not sure how that would work. But
we need to figure this out, because if I could figure this out.
Well, the cash flow, 300% is conservative. So whatever your market rent is, $1,000 a unit, you could be bringing in $3,000 a unit on Airbnb.
Well, but that's not the real play. The real play is, can I get the 15 units or the 350?
Well, you already own the units, right? So
exactly.
You're the boss.
Can I get them full?
Oh, yeah, you can get them full.
So like,
you don't even need to get full. You can get 70%, 60% occupancy and be super profitable. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I aim for, full occupancy, but you don't have to do that. Because
because I'm at $40 a night.
Yeah.
That's what it costs to live in my property.
Yeah.
So what is that going to be?
So on Airbnb,
great swimming pool, great security.
Yeah. So 120, 150 a night might be
so I'm competing with Marriott.
Yeah. So like the house I just purchased, its market rent is only about $1,200, but I'm getting $250 a night. So it doesn't take a lot of nights.
How many nights do you average?
I'm getting about 80% occupancy on that every month.
So you're getting.
Last
24 nights out of 30.
I don't have my phone with me. Last month was $4,200 in bookings on that house.
Wow.
$4,200 versus $1,200. Wow. It's just night and day. There's no comparison. And now we're doing this with high-end property. So I just got a multi-million-dollar home in Scottsdale. Don't own it. Leased it from the owner. Put it up on VRBO and Airbnb, and we're crushing it.
VRBO.
VRBO.
Yeah. Dude, I rent a lot of houses. I mean.
Yeah. So I
rented for 34 days while I was on this trip. So it was luxury.
You were in Dubai.
Yeah, I was in Dubai, Singapore, Thailand. We rented everywhere we went. So this could work worldwide, right?
It can work. I got students in 38 countries, all over the world doing this, because Airbnb is bigger overseas than it is in the U.S. It's a U.S.-based company, but it's growing. I think it's about 3 out of 4 all listings on the site are outside the U.S.
Wow.
So it's exploding outside the U.S.
So the course, how do you, let's move into online marketing.
Sure.
Because obviously if you're selling the course.
I'm even more excited to talk about that.
Yeah, right. But why is that?
Well, I love marketing. I had a lot of success with Airbnb, and I had even bigger success with teaching it. And I really believe that if somebody has something they can teach, they can make millions.
Yeah,
just like you do.
Yeah, but I don't make more money teaching than I do investing.
I do. Well, with mine at least, I do.
Well, you just not investing.
Well, no, not investing, because I'm not investing on your level, but I hope to be again soon. I was at one time.
Yeah. But I see so many guys that start, like Kiyosaki. He started out as an investor, I think. I mean, I don't know the whole story. Maybe it's not even true, but he started out as an investor.
Well, no, that's not true.
No? Okay,
No,
so
no,
what's
the
the
real
story?
rich dad I know
Yeah.
is Keith Cunningham.
Okay.
Is the real rich dad that he based the book on. And I heard that Kiyosaki was making about $42,000 or so before he wrote the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. $42,000 a year.
So you made the money off the book.
He made all the money in education.
In education.
Then it blew up. And
Yeah. See, I started in education.
I don't know if that's true. That's what I heard.
Yeah. So I started in education, but the investing's what? Like,
Yeah. Your net worth is in real estate. And,
I mean,
yeah.
the education thing is like minimal. But
Yeah.
okay, so the online marketing, because I mean, the Airbnb thing is you're only going to be as successful as you can market, call people, talk to people.
Yeah.
How is that? Where does your online marketing experience come from?
I didn't have any. I had actually done this with Airbnb, had made all this money, and I thought, you know what, somebody would want to learn how to do this. And I looked online, there was nobody teaching this at all. There weren't even YouTube videos about it. So I started building a course, because a lot of people were reaching out to me and saying, how are you doing this? Because I was working a few hours a week, I was traveling the world, and I had all these Airbnbs making me money back home. And so I built a course, and I spent like almost a year building this thing out, tried to sell it, nobody wanted it, and I couldn't figure out how to sell it. So I went to a ClickFunnels event and met Russell Brunson and went through his whole thing and met that whole community. And a guy there said, you know what, this is a phenomenal idea for a product. Just go home and do a webinar. And I was like, what's a webinar? I had no idea. So I went home, worked another 6 months on how to figure out how to do a webinar. First webinar I did, made $64,000. I converted 34% of the people on that webinar that bought the product. And from there it took off.
How many people were on that first webinar?
Well, it was
For a free webinar.
a couple hundred to 250, something like that, less than that.
Yeah.
And then,
So 60 people bought.
about 60 people bought, and then in the first 43 days, I did $1 million in sales of the course.
And you're like,
Just
hey,
blew up.
This
and then
is the
people were calling me. I got to work with Dean Graciosi, Ty Lopez. I mean, all these people were reaching out to me, just like, hey, dude, what is this thing? Because I was the only person that was ever teaching anything.
So you got a nice tight niche. It's
very tight niche, and dominated the niche. I was the first one in the niche. And home sharing is an exploding industry. It's a massive industry. I mean, it's, you got HomeAway, you got VRBO, you got Airbnb, and they're global. And nobody was teaching how to do this. And it was like, kind of like the new No Money Down. Right. Except you don't even have to own property.
Right.
And so
the new flipping No Money Down, the wholesaling.
Kind of, yeah. It's not
without the
other people's
wholesaling.
money, other people's properties, other people's everything.
Right.
And I didn't have the credit, so that's why I relied on leasing, because I didn't have the credit to go buy more homes, and I didn't even have any money either. So I started with leasing. And
what
now
a good story, man. And everybody's gonna love that story. I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
I didn't have any credit. Everybody's like, yeah, that's me.
I had nothing. Yeah. And the cool thing is, I've now got students I got 2 students approaching $1 million a year on Airbnb, and I've got countless students that are doing over 6 figures, multiple 6 figures. I got a 19-year-old in Chicago that's doing $300,000 a year net. I got a 76-year-old guy that didn't know how he was going to retire. He's in his 70s, didn't know how he was going to retire. Now he's got 3 units, makes about $3,500 a month net. He's like, you saved my retirement.
Wow.
So like people that have no idea about computers, nothing, they're doing it.
So people listening right now, they're like, okay, hey, who's this dude? Brian Page. Too good to be true. No money, no credit, and I can make $3,500 a month. So tell me about the downside. Tell me about So we take off the too good to be true, and you guys understand there is reality in every situation.
All right, well, let's talk about the risks. So when you lease a property, you're making a commitment to that owner that you're going to lease it for a year. Most owners aren't going to give you, a month or a few months, so they want a year commitment. So the risk there is, you're going to have to come up with the first month's rent and deposit, and if something doesn't work out, you're committed, right?
So in that case, it'd be $2,400 if it's a $1,200 a month.
$2,400. Okay. Yeah, you're looking at a furnished property. I try to aim for furnished properties first.
Oh, furnished.
Furnished.
Yeah.
And so we look for furnished property. If you can't, I teach people how to furnish cheaply. But so then we're committing ourselves. So I started finding that students were finding new ways to do this, more creative ways to do this without having to sign a lease. And I was like, how are you guys doing this without a lease? Because I was just signing leases left and right. And they said, well, we're working with the owners. We partner with the owners. So I would approach you and say, Mr. Homeowner, you've got this listing here that this property you're asking $1,000 a month for. What if I could show you how to make $1,500 a month? No extra work on your part.
Right.
And you'd be like, sure, how does that work? I'd say, I'm going to take it and put it on Airbnb. I think it'll make around $3,000 a month. I think it'll make.
Yeah.
I'll do all the work. We'll split all the money 50-50.
Yeah, I love that.
And I'll guarantee you your first $1,000 out. So if we only make $1,000, it all goes to you. So you get your rent.
Right.
Would you be willing to do that on a month-to-month basis? And at any point you can say, I'm walking away. Who would say no to that? So you make a little bit less than you do if you lease, but it's still a way to.
And then why wouldn't he do this on his own?
Most owners just won't do it.
It's
And
the
most
work.
owners
You
are like
gotta-
you.
you gotta run
They
the
have a
app.
whole portfolio of properties. They don't want to get in the Airbnb business, and they don't know how lucrative it is, and they don't want to be bothered with it.
Right.
I mean, who would want to? So most owners are not like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to go do it myself.
I'm gonna steal the idea.
I've never heard somebody say that to me,
Right. I
ever.
agree with that.
So you could partner with them, you could lease from them, or you can go out and buy property and build wealth by buying property and acquiring property and pay it off, or just build cash flow.
Quit saying that.
Don't pay it off.
Look, guys, if you're buying the right piece of property, you do not need to pay this piece of property off. Like if it's cash flow,
Yeah.
unless you don't trust the cash flow, unless you think, okay, people
No,
are
I
not
think it'll
gonna
be
rent.
here. I think it'll be here long term. And if it isn't, I can always switch it over to long term rental. But
Yeah.
but a short term's here to stay.
Okay, so the downside is you got to do a pitch. I mean,
you got
do have
to
do some work.
talk to
This
people.
isn't- they're not going to just come to
you're
you
not
and
going to do
say-
this over the phone. I don't think you can do this over the phone.
Oh, you don't?
No, I think you need to sit down with an owner. So what I do is I say, I want to come see your property.
My phone room back here.
Yeah.
Maybe
I mean,
we could.
maybe your guys could do it over the phone. No, I always do it in person. I just call up.
Where do you live?
I'm in Charleston,
Okay.
South Carolina.
How'd you get your deal in Scottsdale?
I had a partner out there. I had a student out there who took my course and decided to go straight to the high-end market. He got like a $3 million property, put it on the different sites, and did over 100,000 net on the one property.
Wow.
And I was like, how is he doing this? Went out and met with him. And at the time I was meeting with Dean Graziosi, and he was asking how we were doing it. We all got together and talked. And he was like, dude, he told me, he said, if I was a less scrupulous man, I would steal your idea and do the same thing you're doing, because this is the best idea I've heard in a while. So I met with him, and so that's how I got that property out there. But basically I just call on an ad and I say, I want to come see your property. I don't tell them anything until I show up. And then when I show up, I build rapport with them. I get to know them. I like the way
Because you know that property is for sale or it's vacant?
It's a rental.
Oh, it's a rental.
So I just look in the local paper or Craigslist or signs, and I just find a rental. And I just say, I want to come see your 2-bedroom apartment. And they say, great, I'll see you Saturday. And when I meet with them on Saturday, then I tell them what I'm up to.
Okay, so you're going to spend how many of these? Just so we take off the too good to be true thing.
Yeah.
So for those people thinking, okay, no money, no credit. I'm going to make
Yeah.
$3,000 a month. So I got to make a phone call. I'm going to probably have to make more than one phone call.
Yeah.
To-
You're
to
gonna
get
you're
some
gonna
money.
have to talk to real live human beings. You're gonna have to.
I have a job already.
You're gonna have to set the thing up, which takes some work.
What does that mean? Set
Well,
up
let's say it's not furnished. You got to
Right.
furnish it. If
Right.
it is furnished, you got to do some basics like put towels in there and soaps and the basics that you
Oh,
need.
right, because people are coming in for 3 nights. They want
they're
to
coming in short term.
Toothbrush.
Yep. And then what you really need to do is build a team. And there's virtual services now that do this. There's companies that's all they do is handle your Airbnb account. So once I got to like 5 or 6 listings, I was going insane, because all I was doing was taking my phone was
Furniture.
blowing up, and all these people have questions, and 1 a.m, I need more towels, crazy stuff like that.
Right.
So I was like, I got to figure out how to cut this out. So I found there's different companies out there. Like there's a company called Guesty. They're over in Israel, and for like a few percentage points of whatever you make, they will handle all of the messaging. So I handed all my listings over to them, and then suddenly I don't have to even talk to people anymore. And so the money just comes in.
You're going back to too good to be true. Now we're going back the other way again.
No,
Okay.
there's companies that do this. So you outsource all that. So then you're scaling back your hours, how much you're working, and
Yeah.
yet you still have this insane cash flow coming in. Because that's the one thing everybody says, I don't want to do it, it's too much management. And I say, well, it is if you don't outsource it. You
Right,
outsource
right.
all that, because that's the biggest job, is
Right.
dealing with the guests.
So let's talk about furniture.
Yeah, furniture.
Okay, if I don't outsource, do I outsource the furniture too?
No, you're going to have to furnish it.
I do have to do something here, right?
Yeah, you got to do
Tell
something.
me I got to do.
No,
I'm
you got
not
to do
gonna
something.
be a 4-hour work week here
You
in a
got to go
second,
find
am
the
I?
property. You got to get the owner on board.
Okay.
Then you got to furnish the property if it's not furnished.
Okay.
Then you got to list it.
What am I going to spend on furniture? Am I going to lease that?
I would say 2 to 3 times the rent. So if it's $1,000 unit, you're going to spend 2,000 to 3,000, but that's used, gently used furniture. I don't tell people to buy new stuff. You should buy the mattress new, you should buy the sheets new, but you don't need to buy a new couch, a new table. You can buy that stuff used. So you furnish it, unless you're talking a high-end Airbnb, that could be a lot more. So a few $1,000s to get in, if you can't find a furnished unit, and you get that money back in the first couple months usually. And then from there on, you're making cash flow.
So the people, Kayla moves in for 2 nights. She gives us the $250. How do we collect that money?
You don't collect it. So Airbnb collects all payments.
Okay.
And the money is taken off her credit card before she even shows up. So the day after she checks in,
Right.
that $250 minus 3%, Airbnb keeps only 3% from the host. So you get most of the money.
So they keep 75
So her
bucks.
money goes into the bank account the next day. So bam, bam, every day, a direct deposit in the bank account.
Airbnb gets $7.50.
Yeah, they will
She
take
gets
3%.
The remainder.
I get the remainder of her, what she's paying.
Oh, yeah, you get the remainder.
I get the remainder, and then I can ask for a deposit from her if I want to. And they put a hold on the credit card. So if I say $500, she leaves, there's damage, guess what? I can call Airbnb and say, I need that $500.
Okay, now she checks out.
She checks out.
It's the first of the month now, and I need new sheets because Grant.
So my cleaning company.
Grant gave you a credit card. He's coming in for 2 nights.
You think I should change the sheets? Change the sheets? Is that what you're saying? I should change those sheets.
I'm just saying. Kayla seems like a nice girl.
We don't know about Kayla.
You got to worry. You can't trust nice girls most of the time.
So what I would do.
Those are the ones that go crazy.
Exactly. So Kayla would check out, and then my cleaning crew would see on the app that it's time to clean the property. They show up. She leaves at 11 a.m. The next guest is coming in at 3. They turn the property really quickly. They put a mint on the pillow. They put the soaps and the shampoos out. They put the towels. They put the coffee out. They put it just like a hotel. I even put out a bottle of wine.
Wow!
Inexpensive. Don't get me wrong, but I put a little bottle of wine that I got at Total Wine.
Okay.
And a little card that says, "Enjoy this on me." And people are like,
That's awesome, man.
I stayed in the W here in Miami. I didn't get a bottle of wine for free, so so I do all that.
You picked the wrong room.
I must have, right?
Yeah,
Maybe I get the right room.
Get the right room. They
had a lot of liquor there, but it wasn't complimentary.
Yeah, right.
So they check in. They have all these things laid out for them, and I don't do any of that. That's all done by the cleaning crew. So I have no involvement there either.
That's good.
Now I have an electronic lock on the front door.
Yeah.
That allows me to go anywhere.
You buy that? You own that?
I buy it. It's $100 to $150 on Amazon.
Okay.
I put it on there. Now we have no keys to worry about, so nobody ever gets locked out. And everybody has access.
They get a code changes?
They get a code, and I got a Wi-Fi lock, so I can lock or unlock doors, any of my properties on the Wi-Fi, on my app.
Dude, this is amazing.
And you can do it, so you can go to other states now. So if you wanted to go to California, you could get an electronic lock and be looking at what's going on. I got Nest cameras on the property, so I can see when people are coming and going.
Without giving the audience everything, okay? I mean, ask a pros about
there's more.
You guys.
There's more.
Yeah. So what's a great market? Give me 5 or 6 markets that are like prime, and tell me why.
Okay,
Miami's got to be a great market for this.
Miami's a great market.
Is it or no?
It is, but there are some restrictions here. So there are what I call red zone cities.
Yeah, now, Vegas is probably a problem, right?
Vegas, and then they're usually the larger cities that have housing shortages, like San Francisco, New York. But we find that anytime there's a red city, any of the towns and municipalities around that area are good to go.
Are good.
So I got students.
What does a red city mean now?
Red city means that short-term rentals are either not allowed at all, or it's very difficult to do it. Very difficult. So it's about what was the number? 8% roughly of all cities in the U.S. are red zone cities.
8%.
8%. So 92%.
So I'm going to guess. Vegas. Miami's probably going to be a red city.
Certain parts of Miami, yep.
Because of all the hotels.
We got Denver proper.
Oh, really?
Denver, and then we got. But I have students in all these areas. I have students in all these cities. I have students in San Francisco, which is the least friendly. The least friendly, but they're doing it. They're either a lot of cities don't enforce, so some of them are doing it that way. But usually they're going around the area, so they just drive to the next town over and they do it there. But the interesting thing is that people are killing it in small towns. I got students in towns of like under 5,000 that are crushing it, and I'm like, how is that possible? I got a guy in
college towns would be good then.
College towns are good. Anywhere there's a convention center. It could be a big employer nearby. With all these oil shale jobs, whatever, that are up north, people are killing it up there with Airbnb. Texas, people are now taking ranches and doing the cowboy experience and making insane money in Texas. And I know you know Texas. And then, overseas.
I know Texas.
You know Texas.
Big hair, big trucks.
So
this is amazing, man.
It's cool.
What's the most amount of money? So you got in the deal. What'd you make on your first deal?
First property I ever got, not including the room. I had a room in my apartment that I started with, a spare room. This first standalone property was $1,600 my first month net in my pocket, $1,600, and between $1,600 and $2,000 every month on that one bedroom.
Wow.
On a one bedroom, and then I went and got more. I did $300,000 the first year on Airbnb, and now I've got students now that have gone way beyond that.
So why wouldn't you just scale this thing, dude, and screw the education thing?
I am, but the education thing has been, I've done almost $7 million in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. On its way too. So
the course is B&B. We'll just put a link below.
Yeah, we'll put a link below
and get people to it, and then let's talk about the importance of cash flow, because you mentioned that.
Let's talk about that.
Tell me about how important is cash flow to you guys that are out there trying to create wealth. You've been through some situations where the cash flow wasn't there.
Cash flow is life, man. It's the lifeblood of everything. Makes everything
Praise
happen.
the Lord.
Makes everything happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
for anybody that's stuck in a job that they hate, anybody that wants to be doing something else, wants to have more time to do whatever it is they want to do in their life, cash flow is the answer. And so when I was traveling the world, I went on a 16-country tour. I was in Dubai. I was in the pyramids of Egypt. I was doing all this crazy stuff.
How'd you like the pyramids?
Dude, incredible.
We were flying over them.
Did you not see them? You got to go to them. You got to go to them. I mean, Egypt's amazing.
You have to, because I went on YouTube. We were looking at where to go, right? And so I'm like, I go on YouTube. The kids want to go to the pyramids. I go on YouTube. I look at the pyramids and everything. I'm like, okay, I'm good.
No.
And then we were flying over Egypt, and
them.
I could see them from the plane.
You got to see them.
I'm like, okay, I'm good. But
no, I went in the Great Pyramid of Khufu, and I went. There hasn't been a lot of tourism going on in Egypt lately. People are scared to go there.
Yeah.
And I went there, and I walked inside the King's Chamber, and I was the only person in the entire pyramid.
Wow.
And I was like, hello, anybody here? I was in there, and it was the most eerie, incredible, weirdest thing I've ever experienced. Yeah. What?
Did you get an answer?
An answer? No answer.
Anybody here?
No answer. So it was kind of cool to have it to myself. But so anyways, I was traveling the world, posting all this stuff on social media, and people were like, what are you doing? You're not a trust fund kid. I know you don't come from wealthy family. How are you doing this, Brian? I said, I got all these properties back home. They're making me cash flow, and I don't work, and I just go do what I want. And that's what cash flow does for you. It allows you to do whatever you want. So, right?
Well, I mean, how do you keep the cash flow going, though?
Yeah. Well, I mean, real estate's a great way.
Yeah.
Keeps coming in.
And the online marketing.
Yeah, online marketing.
That's a cash flow. That's really the real estate of the 21st century. Like, I'm online with a piece of real estate.
Yeah, and I don't have any inventory. I'm selling essentially information. I wake up in the morning, I check my phone, see how much money I made today. I didn't do anything for it because it's all automated. So I love it. And I'm always looking for ways to work once and get paid again and again and again.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything where I'm trading my time for money. And I want people to get away from trading their time for money. That's what I'm passionate about.
Yeah, and until you're able to do that, because
until you're able to do it, go get one of these.
I would suggest that you keep trading your time for money, as I do every day, and then whatever money you have, use that so that you can get more money with your money.
Invest.
Because, I mean, you're not going to get out of it. You still got to trade time. You got to do something. You can't just travel.
No.
I mean, why'd you stop traveling?
Well, I mean, at a certain point, you get to a point where you've seen enough, and now you're ready to get back to work.
Let's get back to work.
But the key is being able to choose what you do and not have to do something because you need the paycheck.
Okay, we're going to put the link below. This dude's Brian Page. He started out, he's done real estate flipping. He's done wholesaling. He's doing Air BNB, okay? He's got a formula for you that will show you how to create cash flow without debt, without money, without real estate. Look, I already own the real estate. If somebody came to me and said, hey, I can fill up, and I get this phone call quite a bit, so you guys don't call me, because we will get this phone call.
Watch out.
Because I got to figure out the legal, that's the issue on these larger properties. Then I'd have to furnish them, you know.
Yeah.
But maybe I take one property. Maybe we should figure out how to take one of my properties.
Just test. I mean, you can always start with one or two and see what happens.
Yeah. So we got enough property to test.
I'm looking for a house for Ty right now. He's looking for something in California right now, so we're searching for something.
Oh, Ty
he
needs
wants
a
to,
house?
he wants to get a lease on a property put on
of course
Airbnb.
Yeah. Oh, he wants to get a house.
He wants to lease just for short term.
Yeah. So check out the site below. You know, Brian's talking to you about how can you figure out the solution. I mean, the thing I admire about you is you went busted. You learned from your mistakes.
It was rough.
All builders go broke at some point, folks.
Yeah.
They're making a lot of money right now, but all builders go broke because they keep building. And at some point, the cycle will not support the supply. That's what happened to him. Debt was not the issue. And he's come back and figured out how can he work with his situation as it is. So I really admire that you figured out how to come back.
Appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you.
You're the man, dude.
Thank you.
Ask a pro. If you got some specialty like Brian Page has, okay, what he's doing is amazing. He's going to help a lot of people and help himself in the process. And please comment. What did you learn today? What did you like about today? What didn't you like? Let me know where you're at. I'll put some information how you can reach Brian, and also his course will be down below. Let's grab it today.